Okay, Morav Rabotai, welcome to another Tuesday night Shiur Torah. As we're continuing on this small series, we are up to, if I'm not mistaken, the fourth Shiur. And today we will also be talking about the next midah, characteristic trait that HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself in. There are 10 main characteristic traits that God reveals himself. Today we're going to be talking about the seventh, if you count all 10, but if you count only 7, we will be counting the fourth. Chesed Gvura Tiferet is finished. Now we're doing Netzach. The literal translation of Netzach comes from the word Nitzachon, to be victorious. To be victorious. What does that mean? And who in the Torah is represented with the Sphira, with this characteristic trait more than everyone? Moshe Rabbeinu. Raya Mihemna. In order to understand this midah properly, I like to look at my audience, sorry, I'm not a creep. In order to understand this midah and how to internalize it, because we all have it. Again, the days of Shirat Omer are rectification of your midot, how to become a better person. Now, does that mean now it says to be victorious, I should start killing people and say, I was victorious and when I was doing? No, that's not what it means. Does it mean now you start cheating and start doing all the shtiyot in the world? Doesn't mean that. We will have to define and understand really what this really comes to teach us. If you look at the story of Moshe Rabbeinu, when you learn the Chumash, he's a very interesting figure for the Jewish people. I think he's the most spoken about in the Jewish people. Look at his life. Moshe Rabbeinu was the child of Amram and Yocheved. Amram was the leader of the Jewish people at his time. Nevertheless, they had to do Misirut Nefesh. They had to give up from their will. I heard an unbelievable chidush. I think you guys maybe can relate to this. It always says that when a child goes through a Brit Milah, there is a sense of Misirut Nefesh. Misirut Nefesh means I'm willing to give up my soul for such a thing. I'm willing to die for such a thing. Now people think, whoa, what are you doing really? It's the baby that's suffering, right? The parents don't suffer. The parents have no sense of sensitivity to such a thing. So I heard something unbelievable. In reality, the parents are more emotionally suffering than the baby. The baby goes through a small procedure. He goes through a physical rectification. But the parents, on the other hand, I do britot. I'm a mohel. I can tell you 90% of the time the women are more in pain than the husband. I'm telling it to you. They from when they call the mohel to check the baby until after the brit, 2-3 days, they're crying. Why we have to do this? The baby's gonna cry. I'm scared of blood. I can't change the diaper. Blah, 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 blah. One time I had to drive to the house to change the diaper for the kid for the first time. I said, relax, calm down. Let me teach it to you. So on and so on. Because that's called Misirut Nefesh. Even though you don't want to do something, you don't want. Really, you don't want. But you do it for a higher hierarchy. You do it for a bigger cause. That's called Misirut Nefesh. And that's called Netzach. Netzach is to be victorious in things that are for the benefit, even though it makes you uncomfortable. For example, someone's going through a breakup, right? Now it's hurtful. Don't get me wrong, I totally understand. You go through a certain phase of depression, and you go through a certain phase of getting looked down on yourself, and so on and so forth. But a person, when he goes through these challenges, he has to tell himself right away, I have to bounce back up. Because if I'm not going to bounce back up, I'm going to stay in this position for a very, very long time. To the point that you might even need major therapy to bounce back out. And who's the cause for that?
Yourself.
You're the cause of those pains, those mental pains that you're going through, that you're going to have to go through, is because you mentally didn't know how to channel to say, even though it's a negative thing, there has to be something down the road that's going to be a positive out of this and bounce back up. But most people don't do that. Why? Because they think about now. They're not looking at the whole picture. Moshe Rabbeinu was born in the house of Paro. I want you to understand, every tava, every desire you can ever imagine in your life, both if you're a male or a female, it's irrelevant, times 1,000, that's what Moshe Rabbeinu had access to. Drugs, no problem. Whatever he wanted. Women, no problem. Men, no problem. Animals, jewelry, whatever you want, he had an ability for it. The biggest test in the world is to be wealthy. A person that's wealthy has the highest tests in the world. You're saying, wow, what kind of test is that? Because you never felt wealth. You only dream wealth, but you don't feel wealth. When you feel wealth, you know what you feel? I'm unstoppable. And since you feel that you're unstoppable, you don't have a higher hierarchy, which is God, you think you can do whatever you want. You play God. And then what happens? You see that you destruct yourself, you ruin yourself, you ruin your family, you ruin your wife and kids, or you overcome those stuff and you become someone positive that makes a roshem. What's a roshem? An imprint on the world. And that's exactly what Moshe Rabbeinu did. With all of his greatness that he had, and he needed to be born, he needed to be raised in Paro's house. I want you to know that, and I'll tell you why. A person that is raised in a very negative atmosphere, not that Avram and Yochevet's life would be negative, but the fact that he would have been raised in a slave mentality, because at the end of the day, the Ivrim, the sons of Yaakov Avinu, they were all enslaved in slavery. That reality would have been an imprint to who? Moshe Rabbeinu. You have to ask yourself, am I emotionally attached? Are my decisions in my life based on my emotions or based on my logic? If they're based on your emotions, 90% of the time you are a slave to your emotions. You don't know how to control your emotions. It's like going a man. I had this many times. I go to the store with some of my Talmidim. There's someone that's beautiful or in their eyes looks beautiful by the cash register, and automatically says, Rabbi, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay, give him a minute, and you see him flirting over there. And he doesn't understand. He was like the 1,000th person that flirted with her today. Congratulations to you, Mazal Tov. Congratulations. You're number 1,000. Why? It's a person that's a behemoth. He's an animal. He works with emotions. He doesn't work with seichel. He doesn't work with the logic. He works with emotions. Oh, yeah? I saw someone beautiful? I gotta holler right away. I have to. I can't. Boom. Someone that's addicted to drugs, he's not gonna say, not right now. He sees it. It's available. He has it. Let's roll it up. I'm going to the most lowest drug in this generation. Or let's pop it in and let's feel good. You're addicted to what? To your emotion. You're not addicted to what makes sense. That's called being a slave. A person with that mentality can never be victorious at anything. He can never overcome anything. My friend had this kind of wedding, I want double of that. My friend has this kind of car, I want double of that. You think you're victorious because you're achieving it. But you have to ask yourself, why am I achieving it? Is my achievement to these things in a negative approach, or is it to a positive approach? If it's for a negative, like Rabbi, don't worry, I'm gonna steal. Yeah, can I steal in business? Can I do all the Yisuri? But I'm gonna give a lot of tzedakah, Rabbi. I promise to you, I will donate to. I had many Talmidim like this. Rabbi, if you find me heter, not 10% to Maaser, not 20, 30%, 30, Rabbi, 30% check. He said, I'll even pre-write the checks for you. Find me a heter to do ABC in the eyes. You can't buy me with money. I said, I'm a working guy. I make my own living. I don't need your tzedakot. You're not going to shove me money to find you a heter. That's not the right thing to do. They think, oh, because I'm going to use it for a benefit, I'm going to be victorious. No, you're not. That's what you feed yourself. That's not Torah. That's not Tirat Shamayim. That's not working on your midot as a human being. That's finding an excuse for your desire that you want. Is that why we live? To find desires that we want and try to find a heter for it? No. Rabbi, I promise, after the wedding, this is my dream dress, Rabbi. I'm telling you, after the wedding, I'll go full on commando tsanua. 100%, Rabbi. But on my wedding day, I need to show my whole body to the world. You know what I mean? It's not enough my husband's going to see it tonight, but the whole world has to see it. Come. Harachmaniya. Whoever's hungry, come and watch. It's Pesach in the middle of the wedding. For what? Where's your dad? Where's your common sense? Where's your modesty for yourself, not for people? How would you feel if everyone's going to be talking about you, not who you are as a person, but how you look? It's disgusting. You sell yourself cheap. You sell yourself for a piece of meat. For a piece of meat, you sell. Rabbi, I can't keep the Omer. Rabbi, it's hard. Rabbi, you never went through it. I like, skin fade. I don't know what other chartos are in style now. Some people have the long hair. I want to look like, I want to shave. They say the whole thing. For what? You can't control yourself for 49 days? You can't control yourself for 40. You tell me you are that addicted to your emotions that you can't control yourself? You need help. You need mental help. And it's fine. It's fine to need mental help. There's nothing wrong with it. I also need mental help. Doesn't mean that I'm retarded. It means I need to work on my emotions. I need to be able to say no. The greatest vitamin a person can take is to say no. Not today. Not right now. I'm not selling myself short. This girl wants me or this guy wants me. I need to make sure that they are up to my standards. I will not lower myself. I will not put myself down in certain aspects, to each one in each category different, but I will not make myself short because I desire her for what she looks like and not for what she is. Then yes, Rabbi, why have so many problems in my relationship? What was your initial cause of going into this relationship? But Rabbi, she's so beautiful. Mazal tov. Well, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do? I'm not telling you to find some gorilla in the street. I'm not telling you to find something like that. In both parties. But is he or is she a gorilla also over here? Is anything the person wants and sees and says, I want it, I need to have it? Or is that a person that's going to say, wait, priorities first, family first, children first, husband first? You're not thinking now. The brain over here doesn't work. When the brain down there works, the brain up here don't work. It's mitziyut of life. So what do? This is where the midah of netzach has to play in. Of being victorious. What are you being victorious about? Of that negativity that's trying to overcome you, you're breaking it. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu was connected to netzach. Because with all that negativity he had in Paro's house, I want you to imagine. You can't even imagine it. No matter how many movies you'll watch, you'll never be able to imagine it. To get anything that you desire and to reject it is the greatest pleasure in the world. You want to know why it's the greatest pleasure? Because you had the ability to reject it. Why do people want to get rich? Because they want to have the ability to always achieve whatever they want. Now, when someone already has that ability to have whatever he wants, what's the greatest pleasure for him? To say no. And that's why if you look at all these rich people when they get old, the ones that have worked hard for the money, not the celebrities that got rich overnight, and then they lose everything unless they're smart and know how to work with their finances. What do they say at the end? This is all BS. Cars are BS, watches are BS, all nonsense. Women are BS. The tava of woman is all BS. Why? Why is it? Because he grew up. He realized he's running after his tava, he's being an animal. Just being an animal. Now let's continue with Moshe Rabbeinu's life story. What happens? Hashem made a miracle. I think it's a miracle that Moshe Rabbeinu, he saw that another Jew was getting beaten up and he couldn't handle it. Another Jew is in pain. Another Jew is in suffering. How can I allow it? Sometimes, unfortunately, but fortunately, I have a lot of couples coming to me. Married, not married. They come. They say, Rabbi, we have something to discuss. We need to talk about certain instances. 90%, if not 99%, of couples' struggles is to the fact, not to the fact, but the reasoning is because they don't want to work together. Each one thinks it's a marathon on his own. How can I prove to my husband that I can live without him? How can I prove to my wife that I don't really need her? Call that a marriage? Shem Yirachem. The worst thing, imagine living with the same person, having kids with this person, sharing the same finances, and instead of growing together, you're just growing apart. And the reason to that is because you're not doing it properly. You're not using the midah of netzach properly. The midah of netzach is when you go up, you take everyone around you up with you. You don't close the door. You see someone struggling? I tell this to many people. I don't care, I'm recorded. You're in school, right? You have the answers to the test, right? You know there are some people that need your help. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. If they're not rats, don't be selfish. Don't do it. Go to them quietly. Say, sit right next to me. I got you. I'll help you. Why not? What are you doing wrong? You're not doing nothing wrong. Nothing. You're helping your fellow brother or your fellow sister. What's the problem? What's the problem? Oh, no. I got it. I'm not going to help anyone around me. You crazy? You're loco? You're doing well in business? Help a friend. Give him the ropes. Show him how to do it. You don't understand. When you're successful and then you bring your friends to be successful with you, you just created a pact of lions. A pact. No means a pact. You guys are all in it together. Success is just going to flourish and flourish. But when you're selfish and you do business by yourself and you don't want to help somebody else, you don't want to guide and give them a hand, you know what happens? You're only going to see no success in your life because no matter, your surroundings will always be jealous of you. They'll always drag you down. They'll put you down. You put yourself down. You're in that stage, you got to bring everyone up with you. That's our job. That's our job. Two days ago, a father came to me and said, I hate my son. I said, what happened? He disrespects me. I said, okay. He's wrong. He's wrong for that. No problem. 100%. I said, but the word hate is pretty heavy. I told the father, I think you don't even know what that word means. You hate him. He said, I hate him. I don't mind if he dies right now, he said. Can you imagine a father or a mother saying that about their child? I don't mind if he dies right now. Whoa. The guy's off his rocker. I asked him a simple question. I said, are you the proper example that you want your kids to be? He said, yeah. Me? I wish my kids are like me. Yeah, I love those parents. Like me. They should all be like me. I'm the best. I said, how many times a day do you and your wife publicly curse at each other? Publicly means in front of the kids, in front of everybody. I say, Rabbi, you're married. When you're married, you argue. I said, you didn't answer my question. That's a simple question. How many times do you and your wife show disrespect to each other in front of the kids? Almost every day. I said, this is the example. You're growing up, someone that's just like you, and you're upset? How does that make sense? Until you're not going to change yourself, the kid's never going to change. Because he doesn't know what change looks like. So what does he think? My life is good. I'm just like my daddy. I'm just like my mommy. And even though when the kid gets older, he knows it's not right. Too bad. This is the way I was raised, Rabbi. This is the way I was raised. How come Moshe Rabbeinu didn't say that? Moshe Rabbeinu could have said that. He had a perfect excuse. I grew up in the house of Paro. I should have been the next Paro. What do you want from my life? I'm Gucci. Nothing wrong. He didn't say that. Because he knew how to say no. Ask yourself, how many times this year, when you had a certain tava, you said to yourself, no? How many times you could have done a sin and you restricted yourself? If it's going partying, if it's smoking, if it's drinking, if it's what's the right word? Leading other people to think that you like them and drag things. For what? You know how many men get hurt from that from girls every single day? It's crazy. Why are you leading them on? Why are you doing it? You don't understand when a girl does that. I'm telling you, pain will happen to those persons eventually. Don't do it. You wouldn't like if someone does that to you. I promise this to you. You would kill yourself every day if you like the guy and he's leading you on and suddenly one day ghosts you. What happened to him? I just saw him yesterday. What happened? He just deuced on you. That's what happened. It sucks, right? I know. I'm telling you 100%. It sucks. Don't do it to other people. Don't do it to other people. Is it so hard to be a normal human being? Is it so difficult to have proper morals and ethics in your life? The way you are and represent yourself, that's the way into who you're going to attract. You are your self-example. You are your own teacher. No one can teach you more than your own personal life. You see that you're doing things that are improper. Why are you continuing on doing it? I'll tell you why. Because it's easier to deal with the devil that you know than the devil that you don't know. People are scared to grow physically, spirituality, financially, marriage-wise, because even though they're in pain, since they know how to rotate this pain back and forth, they're not willing to overcome it and go to the next level. It's easy to deal with what I know. But you're not understanding, you're going to have a beautiful life if you fix yourself. If you just tweak up 2-3 things, and everyone just has 2-3 things. You don't have a whole list. You don't have a whole list. If you tweak up 1 or 2 things, you'll be the perfect human being. Perfect human being. The problem is we're not willing to do the work. We're not willing to do the work. Why? You don't want to have a fantastic life? I promise to you, bli ayin hara. Maybe I'm not going to say it because I do believe in ayin hara. But I'm telling you, people that live a proper Torah life, a proper one. Not the ones that go to shul and go to learn once a day for an hour here and there. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about a husband and wife that devote their love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu together properly with the right mindset. They live such a beautiful life. They live such a life of harmony. Their kids come out to be such kdoshim. Not chachamim, kdoshim. They become out holy. You ever saw those kids, that family? There's always that 1 or 2 family you see on the block or you see in the park. The kids are respectful. The kids are nice. The parents love each other. They talk with such respect to one another. Everyone says to their spouse or to the boyfriend, girl, whatever you want to call them, how come we can't be like that? Why you always gotta fight with me? Like, why you always... What are you doing? Don't you see you're the cause of it right now? Why are you doing that? Change comes from within. You have to want to change in order to change. No one's going to change you, ya habibi. I deal with your age for years, for over 10 years. I'm telling you, you're not going to change until you're going to say to yourself, I want to change. Till you break that lazy mentality. But I wake up early and I go to the gym and I do this ice bath stuyot, and I shave my head bald, and I do all these crazy things, all these uncomfortable things. I want to look like this mifager and the other mifageret, and we want to all be mitum tamim bamoach, right? We all pick everyone's trend because we think that's going to save us, right? Yeah, I know these kind of people. But how come I still feel bad? Because you're not working on your midot. You're not working on your characteristic traits. You have to work on those characteristic traits that you know is bad. Like, let's say someone's a teaser. Work that every day you're going to stop teasing people. You're going to cut down. I know people like that. Especially October and November people. They know how to tease, ya habibi. They know how to get under the skin. Better than the needle that the doctor knows how to get under the skin. Aval lama? Lama atem osim et? Why are you doing this to yourselves? It's tava. Break it. And that is Moshe Rabbeinu, my friends. Where did he go? He went to Midian. He went to a desert. He went to a desert, Rabbi Isai. He went to be a shepherd. At least take money from Mitzrayim, get a retirement plan, live good for the rest of your life. He wanted to be a shepherd. You lost your brain. Imagine coming from such a prestige family, and you can have whatever you want, and you were a warrior, and you were a prince, you got all the kavod, everything, right? And you know what you say? You know, I'd rather be a garbage man. No offense, nothing wrong with garbage man, but just imagine that category. I want to be a garbage man today. You lost your brain, what's wrong with you? That's what he did. He said, I'm willing to put myself in the gutter, but to live a life of reality than to live in the most prestige and live a fake life. There is no point in buying a $5 million house and having hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars and jewelry if you act like a piece of garbage. It's not worth it. I promise you, your wife won't appreciate it, your kids won't appreciate it, and your friends are not really your friends. They don't appreciate it. A wife, rather, a husband that makes a normal salary. I'm not talking about a gold digger, two different things. I said a wife. Rather, a man come home with a normal salary. Give her attention. Give the kids their attention. A man, rather a woman, knowing to put the man's priority if it's feeding him and making him well physically and making sure that she can always be his rock, meaning that she always knows if he needs anything, he can rely on me the same way how I rely on him. It's not a chisaron. People think it's a chisaron. People think it's a negative thing. Feminism. Feminism is not feminine. Feminism enslaved women. People don't know this. You're just enslaving yourself more. Enough you have to take care of all the chores at home, right? Enough. And your husband does help you. You also want to work outside like a man? Have you lost your rocker? Who wants that? Who? Okay, you want to make money. But don't say right now, I want to be, you know what I want to be totachit. Why you need that? What? You don't want to enjoy? You don't have time for yourself? Go out, do your nails, chill with your friend, take care of the house. I looked at one girl years ago came over here, she was fighting with me. I said, I think it's either you're crazy or you're really a man. Gotta be one or the other. You gotta be. I said, you know what happened? Years later, her sister told me that she changed her views. Because she realized that when she's gonna be 30, 40, 50, no one's gonna even sniff her. With all of her wealth that she's going to have, and with all of her everything she's going to have, no one's going to even look her way. They're going to say, who are you? Who needs you? You can't do nothing good for me as a person. What do I need you for? Growth comes with understanding each other's goals in life. When you do both of these things properly, the marriage is going to be perfect. When you have that proper respect between husband and wife, not I'm gonna control over you like little kids back in Gan, back in 4 years old, 3 years old. No, but normal family, normal kids you're gonna have. But that comes with working on yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. You can't expect yourself to get married or go on dates and suddenly you guys are Yela Tov Yerushalayim. Many guys tell me, this is not the girl I dated, Rabbi. This is not the guy I dated. You know what he did to me when we went out? You know what she did to me when we went out? She was an angel. Malach HaMavet. He just didn't differentiate which angel, right? Why? Because your intentions of marriage wasn't the right thing. You're not supposed to think of being in a relationship to run away in the relationship that you are in right now. Right now, you're in the relationship with your parents. Whatever they say goes. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. Right? At least normal families. Whatever they say goes. Don't try to run away from that relationship to get married. A big mistake. Because it's your husband or wife is not your parents. They're not gonna have mercy on you. It's not gonna be that way. You're gonna have an obligation. You know what means obligation? There is no more can you please. No, I have to do it. It's not like I skip a day of laundry. Oh, I forgot, Ima. Okay, tomorrow I'll do it. When I come back from school, oh, I had an exam. Leave me alone. Blah, 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 blah. With all your exams, with all of your responsibilities, you better know that you're gonna go do some chores, you like it or not, ya habibi. Good morning, America. That's right. Regardless if you're the man or woman, whatever the roles in the house is, irrelevant. It doesn't become a choice. It becomes an obligation. When is the right person know he's ready to get married? When he knows he's working on his midot. I'm working on myself. I know that when another person is going to come to the house, whoever it may be, if it's the man or girl, husband or wife, I will know that I'll have to put my emotions, how I feel, to what's logical. I have to understand that her feelings are before my feelings. And she has to understand that his feelings is before my feelings. I can't just go and rant like a crazy woman when I know he just came back from work. Let me see what he needs. And he can't go and start discussing his desires of living luxurious when he knows she's suffering and she needs help. So what happens automatic? You have to take your needs and put it aside and worry about the other person's needs. And that only comes when people start to realize I have to stop being selfish. I have to start caring about other people's feelings. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, how did he reach the burning bush? There was a small baby sheep. You know, those small, I don't know, you guys maybe never were on a farm before. I have been many times. Small little sheep. It's always that hooligan little sheep running around. And then he just went. Where'd he go? Maisele, where are you going? Taking a stroll. Go tell a sheep to stop walking. Ya Habibi, go tell. Go run after a sheep. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't scream at the sheep. He followed it. He followed up the mountain, went, until what? The burning bush. That's why he was picked. You know why he was picked? Because he cared for every single sheep. That's also why David HaMelech was picked. Hashem said, if you care about your master's money and the sheep like this, how much more so are you going to care for every single Jew that's going to come out of Mitzrayim? When you have those characteristics of caring for others, putting their needs before your needs, that's called being a real victorious person. A king or a president of a Medina that cares about his own kavod before the people's needs is a failure of a leader. And a leader that cares more for his people's needs more than his own needs is a successful leader. Look at communism. Most, if not every single communist regime at the end falls. Falls. Why? Because the people at the end overpower it. Dictatorship doesn't work. You have to learn not to be selfish. So how do I do this in my day-to-day life? Okay, Rabbi, very nice. You gave me a shmooze, Moshe Rabbeinu, Netzach. Yes, now we think we're Hasidim and Mikubalim overnight. Yes. What do I do with it? Rabbi, what do I do? There's 2 more days. 2 more days of Netzach. How do I apply these these characteristics straight to the rest of the week. Stop being selfish. Someone needs help, help them. But don't just help them because you have no choice. Help them because you want to help them. Do good for another person because you want to do good. That's how you start. One second. That's how you start working on your midot. Understanding that life is not only about you. Life's about everyone around you. You have to understand that sometimes you have to be selfless and not selfish. That's how you start. If married people are watching this, a boy say, how you start? Put your husband's needs first for a minute. Put your kids' needs first for a minute. But I always do that. Look, I'm all there in the kitchen and I'm in the... You're not doing that. You feel forced to do it. When you feel forced to do anything, you don't feel a sense of, I'm doing it for somebody else. For example, when someone does you a favor, or when you do someone a favor that's really in need, you feel really good. I don't know if you guys ever felt it. When someone needs your help and you can help them, you feel daddy. Like, yo, I just saved his life, bro. I did it. You will brag about it from today till tomorrow. Until the guy says, yo, why even let this person do me a favor? He's killing me. He's chopping me, man. When a mother or a father go home and they always whine and nag, I did this for my kids and this for my husband and wife. Know that you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. You want to really prove to yourself that you're doing it for them? Be happy when you're doing it for them. How many people wish they had kids to do laundry for? How many people wish they would have a husband and a wife even? Do you guys know what's happening in the shidduch world? It's terrifying. Terrifying. Thank God I was not born in this generation. Thank God. It's disgusting. You get married to what? To go complain about your spouse then? What kind of marriage is that? Are you crazy in the head? You have kids for what? So you can complain and bash your kids like they're your punching bag? That's not a parent. You're an abuser. You're emotionally abusing your family. So how you change that? Find the positive in what you're doing. I'm doing the laundry. Thank God I have kids. I'm cooking. Thank God I know how to cook. Thank God. How many women don't know how to cook? Hashem Yerachem. They barely even know how to scramble eggs. What is this? Yeah, it's a chokhmah how to do it. You do the butter, and you always have to mix it, and you have to put milk if you want it fluffy. Well, yeah, you have to know this stuff. Well, how are you going to do breakfast, whatever? I'm not going to get into that right now. You have to know how to do things properly. They better know how to put a toaster. They put a bread in the toaster, it comes out suchariki, it's all burnt. What are you going to do with it? Take it, hit it in the head with it. Hey, thank you for your breakfast. What is this still? Appreciate that you know certain skills. Appreciate that you're going to school. You're getting an education. That you're having finances. That you have student loans. Why? You should appreciate student loans. Because you at least went to school to get a profession. Appreciate what you have. When you start to appreciate, you're using Netzach. You're being victorious. You're being victorious for yourself. Look at the positive things that you have. How can I achieve more? How can I do more outreach and help other people? There's a Shiur Torah on Wednesday. How many people can I get to go to that Shiur Torah? There's a Shiur on Thursday. How many people can I get them to go to Shiur Torah? It's not a competition. People think, oh, you only want people to go to your Shiur. Chas Shalom, go to whoever you want. As long as you're learning Torah. As long as you're working on your midot. As long as you're not a robotic Jew. Don't be a robotic Jew. Don't do things because I am obligated to do it. You're not serving God. You know what you're serving? You're serving those mitzvot. You're Oved Avodah Zarah. That's what the kids of Cain and Hevel did. Not Hevel, but Cain. They were serving the stars and the moon. Why? Because God gave them the power to let the world continue, so we're going to serve them and not God. So what are you serving? You're serving the tefillin, and you're serving the tzitzit, and you're serving the minyan, but are you serving God? Where's God in the equation of your life? Where do you go? Where do you go? Why are you living in a box? Stone Vamora, my Rebbe told me this. We were talking about chinuch of the yeshivas. Oh, how much I love my Rebbe. Mwah, his words. He said, we were talking about the world of the yeshivot. Whatever, I don't want to get into it, or I don't want to start saying names and stuff like that, but he said, yeshiva or any school, or even a household that likes things to be in a box, you have to fit a certain quota. You know what I mean? Those are not yeshivot. He said, Stone Vamora, if you didn't fit the bed that they gave you, they would take your arms and feet and they would sew it until you fit to the bed. And if you were too short, they would stretch you. They would stretch you. They would take two horses, they would one in the feet and one in the hand, and they would make you stretch. That's called living a box. That's called being a systematic Jew. Systematic Jew. Hashem doesn't need robots. He has angels for that, ya habibi. There's plenty of angels. The number of angels there are in the world, forget about it.
Really?
You'd be surprised. Why? A Jew has to serve Hashem bitchilu urchimu, with full-heartedness. I'm not coming to this minyan because everyone is systematic. I'm coming to this minyan because everyone prays with their heart and brain. Everyone wants to do things l'shem shamayim. I want to grow in Torah mitzvot. I want to work on my midot with Torah mitzvot, with emotion, to elevate those emotions that they should be logical to you. Trust me, when you have kids, I'm going to finish with this. When you have kids, you're not going to want your kids to look at you and say, oh, you forced me to do everything in my life. Oh, you were such a cruel person. Yeah, but ya habibi, I did everything for you. I went to school for you. I married your father for you. I did everything for you. How can you be so unappreciative? How? Hashem says the same thing to you every single second of your life. I gave you, and I give you. How come you can't say thank you? How come you can't just acknowledge the positive that happens to you in your life? How come you can't work on your midot? How come you can't be victorious on all the things that come around you? Something negative happens to you, you lost your wallet, you lost your phone. Comes to Torah. You already lost it. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Nothing. You have to find it? Yes, do your hishtadlut. But don't now go say, you see God? Yo, telling you, the days I put on tefillin, the days I wear a tsanua skirt, you got to screw me like that. Right? Right? And right, we call your religious friends, F you and your God. Zayi karochi. You know what I'm talking about? I don't need this. I should do this. I should keep Torah mitzvot to only get punished. Why are you looking at it so negative? Imagine your hand had to get chopped today. You took away your phone. Imagine you would have a phone call and something bad would have happened. Why can't you look at the good? Why can't you say Gamzul Tovah? Kol man Rahman Hativ. Anything that God does to me, that's for my benefit. I don't see it. Okay, it's a chisar. It's how do you say chisar in English? Proper.
Lacking.
It's a lacking in me. It's not a lacking in God. When I have a chisar, when I see something lacking in my life, note that it's not God, it's you. Because you see the chisar, you see the lacking. He doesn't see the lacking because he knows why he did it. Like a little kid going to the store and whining, Mommy, I want this candy, and he's making a fit. The whole store, and the mother's getting embarrassed, turning different colors that even Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know about, and he knew everything. And the other kids are fighting, and she's there, Hashem, just kill me. Hashem, I want to die. I'm so embarrassed. Imagine. That's how we are. We just know how to whine like little kids. Grow up. Time to grow up. Time to look at things at face value and be everything in a positive way of look. And I promise this to you. Guaranteed. When you will start looking at things in a more positive way, in a week's time, all those negative people around you are just going to drop. They're just not going to be able to handle you. Negative seeks negative. When someone that's negative is around people that's positive, they can't handle it. They just bug out. They start tripping. They can't. Because they're in a sviva, they're in a surrounding of, oh, look at that, look at her. Oh, I know where she got that dress from. Yeah, that cheap, blah, 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 blah. Why? Who gives a damn? Who cares? Oh, look at his Rolex. Look, he's wearing a fake Rolex. It's not a real Rolex. Who cares? What is it to you?
Is that a klipa?
It's 100%. It's the biggest sitrachra. Being negative? Who cares? Why you gotta do that? You don't understand. You're mashpia negativity to yourself. But if you're in that crowd of friends, and so there's a friend that's ranting, say, okay, I'm happy for her. Look how beautiful she looks. Or, wow, good for him. Look, he's trying. What is it to you? Suddenly that negative person is not going to be able to say anything. They're just going to shut because they're going to feel stupid at that moment. Right away. Wow, you didn't defend me? Why should I defend you? Why should I defend you? You're a sucker. You feed off people's misery because you're so miserable. Someone that's miserable only feeds on other misery. But when someone's positive, he doesn't want to hear negativity. He'll just say, yo, I'm out of here. But we're friends for so many years. No, apparently you're not my friend. If you talk bad about other people in front of me, God knows what you talk about to other people about me when I'm not here. Just God knows. Flake them. It's okay. Well, we were boys for so many years. You were not boys. You were not. You were feeding off your own negative energy with him. That's what you were doing. Feeding off each other's garbage. You don't need that. Trust me, you'll find better friends. And you know what? Even if you don't have friends, you're not going to need friends anymore. Because you're going to be living in a mindset of positivity. You're always going to be happy. Always. You're always going to be looking at things in a proper way. That's the way it works. Moshe Rabbeinu had a very challenging life. You know what it is to rule over all the Jewish people? Ask any rabbi of a shul, even a rabbi of a shul of 10 people. He wants to hang himself. He wants to take a rope and hang himself. Why? Dealing with Jewish people, it ain't simple. Am kshe orev. They're stubborn like a goat, the Gemara says. Goat is the most stubborn animal, the Gemara says. Jews are very stubborn. But Moshe Rabbeinu did it. Why? Because he put the needs of the people before the needs of himself. Be the Moshe Rabbeinu in your life. Overcome those challenges. Look positive in everything. Take anything that comes your way that looks negative and convert it into a positive feeling. And I promise you, the second you walk out of this room, you're going to have a test. It's just the way it works in life. And then you're going to get home and something else is going to happen. And tomorrow you're going to wake up and something else is going to happen. But don't give up. You know what that means? You're on the right path. Because you're starting to notice the little things that put you down. You're starting to notice the things that are holding you back. Once you fix it, one thing at a time, tweak here, tweak there, tweak here, tweak there, suddenly you start to realize, wow, I'm growing. I'm growing. Okay, someone spilled something. I'm not looking down. It's not that in the world. That would you be a week ago, you would kill the person. You would kill the person. Okay, it's not the end of the world. I'm working on myself. Suddenly you start to see, wow, I have self-control. I'm not an animal. I can give in. I can be a better human being. Because we're in the week of Moshe Rabbeinu. Take this week for the whole year. Next week we're going to be talking about Hod, which is Aaron HaKohen, which is unbelievable. We'll talk about him then. Does anyone have any questions? Nothing to be shy about. If you want, I can turn off the camera. You had a question before, no?
Yeah, that way you already answered.
I already answered it. What do you know about that? Okay. Have a good night, Rabbi.